What's up everybody? Welcome to another video. My name is Larissa and today I want to be answering the question, are humans frugivores? If you haven't heard the term frugivore before, well, I'm sure you've heard of carnivores, omnivores, and herbivores. And humans actually fall into the frugivore category, although we are not taught that growing up. We are taught that we're omnivores, but that's just the societal normal way for us to eat. And I want to go into detail about the biological reasons we are not designed to be omnivores, that we're actually frugivores, and how we ended up eating the way we eat today. So I'm sure you know that carnivores are animals that need to eat meat to survive, and animals that fall into that category are cats and other felines. And then we also have omnivores, which are animals that can eat meat and plant foods as well. And those types of animals include dogs and bears. And then of course we have herbivores, animals that live off of foliage. And we are not herbivores, even though some vegans would like to put us in that category. But herbivores include animals like cows and horses. Think of, animals that eat lots of grass and stuff like that, which we can't live that way. We are actually frugivores, just like other primates, because we fall into the primate category as well. So animals like monkeys and gorillas, they need to consume a diet full of fruits and other plant foods as well, but the bulk of the diet needs to be majority fruit. That's just how we're biologically designed, how we always have been, how we originated eating in the tropical climates where our species is from. We slowly had to move away from that way of eating for survival. As we expanded as a species across the world, we had to adapt to different ways of eating. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how we're designed and that's what's best for us, but it is what we did for survival. And if we're not living in survival anymore and we want to feel our best and be our healthiest, we should go back to our species-specific diet, which is that of a frugivorous diet. A diet high in raw fruits and living plant foods. I'm going to be focusing mostly on the differences between frugivores and omnivores and carnivores in this video, although like I said, we are also not herbivores at all. But I just want to go into the main differences that set us apart from the other meat eaters in nature. So let's dive right in. First of all, omnivores and carnivores, they have much higher stomach acid than frugivores and humans, and they need this higher stomach acid to break down all the protein and muscle tissue of the animals that they consume, as well as to kill off the bacteria and parasites that is contained within this raw animal flesh. Our bodies are not designed that way, which is a huge reason why we have to stay away from consuming raw meat and undercooked meat, and why it can be so harmful to our health. It can make us very sick and even kill us. So, that should tell us right there it's something we should really stay away from. And if we can't eat raw meat, what do you think we were doing before we discovered fire? Or even tools for that matter? Well, like I said, we were eating a frugivorous diet, just like the other primates in nature that don't alter their food and eat an unnatural diet. A huge biological difference from frugivores and omnivores and carnivores. I mean, just look at us. We don't have, once again, the tools built into our biology that they do. Big, long, sharp claws, big, long, sharp teeth. They can run really fast to take down their prey. And, they have all of these sharp daggers built right in that humans eventually had to learn to create to be able to kill and capture animals, cut them up. Well, they have that all built in and we do not. And so like I said, originally we weren't eating animals. We had to learn how to, which shows you right there, it's not natural for us. Our biology, our hands are perfectly designed to pick ripe fruit off the tree. We can easily learn how to climb trees. Our teeth are perfectly designed to just bite right into a nice soft fruit. Like, we don't have these crazy sharp tools built right into us for a reason. We look way more like the other primates, monkeys, gorillas, because we're related to them more closely than to carnivores and omnivores, so we should definitely be eating more like our cousins. Carnivores and omnivores also release an enzyme called uricase that helps to neutralize the uric acid found in meat. Well, uric acid is extremely toxic to humans, and we don't release that enzyme, so that's another, huge downfall to us consuming meat. While frugivores actually produce an enzyme called amylase that helps to break down carbohydrates, which carnivores and omnivores do not. And frugivores need to consume a high carbohydrate diet full of fruits, right? Fruits are high in carbohydrates and simple sugars. Frugivores also need fiber to activate peristalsis, which is muscle contractions that occur in our intestines to help move the food through our long intestinal tract, while carnivores and omnivores do not, and they also have much shorter intestinal tracts. A frugivore's intestinal tract is 10 to 12 times our body length, while carnivores and omnivores, theirs is only 3 to 6 times their body length. So imagine eating a piece of meat that has no fiber in it, nothing to help it move through our very long intestinal tract. It's just gonna sit inside of us and putrefy, especially in the warm heat of our body. And we all know what a disgusting, rotting piece of meat, piece of flesh, a corpse, smells like when it's just sitting there rotting, right? We don't want that inside of us. We don't want to smell like that. And we don't want that sitting there, attracting all this bacteria, multiplying in our gut, causing us, bacterial overgrowths. And it's a great environment for parasites to thrive in as well. So, and a lot of parasites come from eating meat. So yeah, it's not the best for us. Whereas for the carnivores and omnivores with the shorter intestinal tracts, that meat can move right through because it doesn't have a long way to travel like it does for us. Like I said, our bodies, our intestines, they're designed for a high fiber diet, 100%. And like I said, our bodies are also designed for a high carbohydrate diet because our cells run on glucose. And we can't derive energy as easily from protein and fat. We do not need to have a high protein and fat diet. We need a high carbohydrate diet. That's the best for instant energy, for effortless energy, because to derive energy from fat or protein, our bodies have to go through this complicated process called gluconeogenesis to convert fats and proteins into carbohydrates to use for energy. So why wouldn't we just focus on the carbohydrates instead and eat a high fruit diet or even a high cooked vegan carbohydrate rich diet? That's fine too. But fruit is always going to be the best. It's going to be that instant energy, effortless on the digestive system, and we should, stop worrying about like consuming tons of protein or a keto diet with lots of fat. That's just going to be super harmful on our body and take way more energy away from our body doing that complicated process of converting it into glucose when we could just be getting the glucose straight from the source. Another huge difference between us and carnivores and omnivores is that we do not produce our own vitamin C, and so we need to get it from food. And of course, when we think of vitamin C, we think of fruit. It's a great source. It's the best source of vitamin C. While carnivores and omnivores, they actually produce their own vitamin C. That's a huge thing that sets us apart. And vitamin C is extremely important because if we don't get enough, we can end up developing scurvy and other health issues. And it's also really important for our immune system. So make sure and eat lots of fruit and don't fall into the whole carnivore diets or paleo diets or keto. Like, that's not made for you, We are not carnivores and omnivores. Another biological difference between us is that frugivores have trichromatic vision. It gives us the ability to see a wide array of colors that help us to find our food in nature, our colorful fruit, and determine whether it's ripe or not, whereas carnivores and omnivores do not have that ability. Our other natural senses really help attract us to fruit as well. The sweet aroma, the flavor. The reason we all think we have a sweet tooth is because we crave sweet things. We crave the sweet, juicy fruit that we're not getting enough of if we're eating a standard American diet. Humans actually have carbohydrate receptors on our tongues. We can taste sweetness, whereas carnivores and omnivores don't, and they have protein receptors on their tongues where they can taste protein like we can't even taste the way they taste it. It actually tastes really, really good to them. Whereas imagine eating a very plain, just like boiled piece of chicken breast with no seasoning at all. Does that taste delicious to you? Just plain flesh? What's funny is humans actually like the taste of plants much more because we add all of these plant seasonings to our meat to make it taste desirable to us. If we ate it just plain, nothing added, just boiled, that wouldn't taste very good to us, but to a carnivore, just the sight of meat will get them salivating. And they can eat it plain, raw, bloody, with the fur on it, things that we find disgusting. Fruit needs no seasoning at all, and it is delicious to us the way it comes naturally. Another big difference that sets us apart from carnivores and omnivores is that they typically have litters of babies and have, multiple nipples to help feed all those babies. Whereas frugivores, we typically only have one child, sometimes two at a time, and we only have 2 nipples present on our bodies. So another difference that shows us we are not as closely related to them as we are to our other frugivore primate cousins in nature. Humans also have the lowest amount of protein present in their breast milk and the highest amount of sugar. So that should tell us right there, when we're babies, it's the time when we're growing the most, the quickest. So what is our fuel source? If it's present in the breast milk, what is the fuel source that is designed perfectly for humans? Well, sugar, carbohydrates, and we don't need that much protein. And this is compared to all other mammals. Fruit is the easiest digesting food on the human body, and it is full of so many of the nutrients that our bodies need to be healthy. It's hydrating, there's tons of antioxidants, phytonutrients, amino acids, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, the list goes on, fiber. There's just so much nutrient density to fruit. It's perfect for our bodies. Now let's talk about natural instincts. I'm sure some of you have heard this example, but if you had a baby, a human baby, and you placed a bunny and a banana in front of that baby, what do you think would happen? Do you think the baby is gonna play with the banana and tear that bunny to shreds? Or do you think the baby is gonna play with the bunny and eat the banana? What do you think is more likely? Because if you were to place a bunny and a banana in front of a lion cub, well, I'm sure we can all imagine what would happen there. Just the sight and smell of that live animal causes carnivores and omnivores to salivate. When we see a live animal, especially a cute one, we're usually just like, aw, I can't imagine harming that. Look at how adorable, Humans, we love animals, most of us. We don't really, our natural instinct isn't to just pounce on it and rip it to shreds, especially if we're hungry. But humans, we just want to pet all the other animals. We just want to love them until it comes to dinner time and we forget what's on our plate, or who is on our plate, rather. Another great example is think about putting a live chicken in a blender, blending it up, and would you want to drink that mixture? A carnivore and omnivore would be fine with it. They wouldn't question it. They'd be like, oh, delicious. That's what I always eat. For us, wouldn't you rather just put a bunch of fruit in a blender and blend it up and drink that? Sounds less gross, right? Because it is. I mean, humans, we can't even see a vein in our meat without being disgusted, or a feather on our chicken. That's what it is. It's an animal covered in feathers, yet you've disassociated from what it really, really is, But we can see a fruit, a banana in its full form, and be happy with peeling it and eating it up and knowing that it's not gross, It's just perfect the way it is. And most of us also don't want to kill animals ourselves. We just pay others to do it for us so that we can disassociate from it and realize it's not murder. It's just, It's just meat. You just find it nicely, neatly packaged at the store with all the blood removed and all the work done for you. And you can forget that it was an animal that was living and breathing and killed. If you had to do that yourself, I'm sure most of us would not eat animals. It's time to really start thinking for ourselves and following what makes the most sense biologically, ethically, and what is in alignment most with nature, because the future of this planet really depends on it, as well as, it's not great to live in an unethical way as humans, slaughtering trillions of animals every year. It's not good for our species, it's not good for the planet, it's not good to kill, right? And don't just take my word on all of this. Do your own research. It's a little hard to sift through all the misinformation out there. There's always, conflicting views on every opinion these days. That is what makes it a little difficult. But at the end of the day, try it out for yourself. Go vegan if you're not already. Eat more fruit. Go raw if you really want to, or at least high raw. Have more fruit meals, at least for breakfast. Breakfast and lunch is the best time. And you'll see for yourself how good you really feel. You'll never feel better because you're eating how you're designed to eat. You'll discover this new level of feeling amazing that you didn't even know existed. And I can say that from experiencing it myself. Like, I literally just went on this journey to help clear up my health issues, and I ended up finding out that I can feel amazing, energized, clear-minded, like happier, just effortlessly in shape. Like, I work out a little bit, not that much, but I'm just like, I don't lose muscle as fast as I used to, even when I was eating protein shakes all the time. And I can stay like fit and healthy and eat all the carbs and sugar I want. I eat close to 3,000 calories a day of just pounding fruit and then having a salad for dinner at night. I keep it low fat. I don't worry about how much protein I get. I just eat enough calories and I'm good. And like I said, I could keep my muscle and I don't even work out as much as I used to. I just do it for fun because I enjoy it and I know it keeps me healthy. But anyway, just find the truth for yourself. Do it for yourself. Do it for the animals and the planet. And if you have any questions, leave them down below. You can check me out on Instagram as well for more information or just to follow along. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for listening all the way through, and have a wonderful day. Bye.